Well, hello and welcome back to Producer Dan. I'm Dan. Today, I'm going to sit down and mix the song Horizons Line. I have finished tracking, I have finished doing the vocals and the backup vocals. There's a lot of MIDI instruments in this song. Piano is MIDI, the bass is MIDI. The only analog instruments I used was acoustic guitar and a tambourine and my voice. Everything else was a MIDI instrument. Anyway, so the song, it was my intention to take Horizons Line, which is considered one of my better songs, and rethink it, reproduce it, make it what I really imagined in my head. The original song is actually good in my opinion, but it's a kind of a walking piano ballad, and I always imagined it a little bit more grand. So we've done that. So I have a list of things here that I'm going to do today, and I'll take you through that through my Pro Tools session. We are going to just tune a couple of notes that I hit. Otherwise, I'm very, very happy with the vocal track. I did 4 good takes. It was the 4th take, and the only reason I did the 4th take was I needed to go back and correct a couple of lines in the bridge that I messed up. And I messed it up on 2 out of the 3 takes, and I wanted to have another choice. So I needed to do it one more time, and I figured, well, this may be a throwaway take. I'm only doing it for this for these 2 lines. I'm going to be as free as I can and maybe go out of my comfort zone and not think about it too much. And I did, and I kept that take. I had so much fun with that last take. Now, I filmed all 4 takes, and I did a compilation of the vocal take, pulling from different takes, but the majority of the video is from the 4th take. So I guess we're going to just go into the Pro Tools session, and we'll start with just a few things. And so let's get started with that. The first thing on the list was to turn down the low strings in the intro. Okay, so this is the track we're going to work on. When I'm mixing the MIDI tracks, instead of turning this down on the fader, I'm going to turn down the velocity, and that'll make it sound a bit more natural. It'll sound like the musician is playing softer instead of I'm just turning down what he's done. Okay, so here are the notes I want to turn down. Here are the velocity markers. I'm just going to highlight them all. I'm just going to turn down the velocity by that much. Yeah. Maybe a bit more. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Next on the list is to turn down that vocal, which I might not even keep. When I was recording the song, I like to just do a little bit of vocal exercise in the beginning, in the intro. Whether I keep it or not, it remains to be seen. I'm getting used to it. I may just take it out of the final mix and just let the instruments play. But for now, we're going to turn it down and kind of integrate it a little bit more. So that part is fine, but this big blob here is what we're going to turn down. Another thing I want to do is keep that breath so it sounds natural. If I cut, like I'm going to make a cut, and if I cut here, it's going to be in the middle of that breath, and that can sound unnatural. So there's the beginning of the breath. I'm going to make the cut, and let's see what that sounds like. Now I do have it going through a compressor, so that is controlling the volume a little bit. I want it to be kind of background almost. Okay. I'm just going to put a fade in there right now so that would join the two. There's a plucking of the guitar in this intro that needs to be turned down just a little bit. This part. These two notes, they're not bad. I want them to be heard. They were just sticking out a little too much like they were being featured, and that's not what I wanted, but... Okay. And you saw what I just did there. That guitar is mic'd, and anytime you have an instrument that's mic'd, it can introduce unwanted noise in the song when it's not necessary. So we've turned down the plucking guitar. Okay. So in these verses, or in this song, I've chosen this female choir to come in. It's very pretty, so let's listen. The sky bears witness. Ooh, she drops down to say hello. Okay, you heard them there. Very pretty. They're sounding a little loud and distorted, and I just want to figure out if that's because I have them up too much. The sky bears witness. Ooh, she drops down to say hello. Going down even further. The sky bears witness. Ooh, she drops down to say hello. Ooh. I don't think that improved the sound very much. It sounds like you're just going to have to settle for that sound. And then when I convert it to an audio track, I can do a little automation on that. So, the only percussion in this song, I have a shaker, and I'm using that as the steady track that we're going to try and match. Now, I don't always like to fall exactly on the click track. It needs to breathe and move and speed up and slow down. But I do notice some parts of the song where the tambourine sounds a bit late or sounds a bit early. So here is the shaker track. Here's the tambourine hits. This one looks late, but let's listen and see if it is late. Actually, I'm going to solo the tambourine and the shaker. That sounds late, but let's listen to it in the context and see if that is something that I wanted. Horizons over mountains under. Nope, it's late. It's late. These three could be moved over a little bit. You know, in some instances, it might sound good if it were kind of late. If you're maybe wanting a little lazy sound, or so let's listen. If that's an improvement, we'll keep it. If not, I'll go back to the way it was. And I've crossed horizons over mountains under desert skies, and that's an improvement. Okay, love that. Rocket ship to another time, and I set sail by myself, set up. These are super late. Sometimes these things are happy accidents. They add a little bit to the song, adding swing to the song. So you really have to be careful not to edit the life out of the song. And I did this, and I probably still do to an extent. But in the beginning, I edited everything right down to the, right down to the click track. And when I was finished, there was no life left of the song. Another example is if a vocalist goes a little sharp or a little flat, just to differentiate themselves with the rest of what's going on, to be heard and to maybe add a little something. Those things are necessary in a human performance. But those look really late, so let's take a look and listen. Set sail by myself, set out to find myself. This one sounds okay, this one no. And then we can move it. This is basically silence here, so that's not going to be a huge issue. That's within It was recorded on an SM57, which hears nothing unless you're right up close to it. So it's meant for a percussion instrument like this. Set sail by myself, set up. Okay, so here we are at the vocals. So there's my lead vocal up top. The backup vocal just below it is what we're going to look at here. Evidently, I thought that was too loud this morning, so. And shown the infinite world around him. And it is. I'm going to make a cut there. Make a cut here. Oops. It's not bad, but it's a little infinite world around him. That's better. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tune the vocal. There are two instances that I know that I need to tune. You transfer the vocal into Melodyne, and it gives you these little orange blobs. And you can move up and down, and that changes the pitch, obviously. You can also move them back and forth. You can actually change the timing, and there's all types of things we can do. But right now, we're just going to concentrate on tuning it just a little bit. I'm touching down on. I'm touching down on. This will be an easy fix because you can see this is solidly on the wrong notes. If I just touching down on. I'm touching down on. A little lower, yeah, that's better. Few seconds of a rainstorm. Okay, this line could be improved. This storm. Rainstorm. Storm. We'll lift it up a little bit. And then see all this unevenness. Yeah, that's my fault. So with pitch modulation, I can smooth that roughness out. There's a bit of quiver in my voice. It's very low for me. As a matter of fact, I had to rehearse this song for days. Let's see if that's any better. Of a rainstorm. Let's move on. It knows all. So I'm going to try and smooth this little area out because it dips down here. So let's see if we can just take a little bit of it out. What if all unknown, it knows all? Yeah, that's much better. So it's obviously a different day. And in looking at the Pro Tools session now, you can see that I have obviously finished. I've turned all of my MIDI tracks into audio tracks. Generally, MIDI tracks, MIDI instruments will use up a lot of your PC power. So you transfer those onto an audio track. That way you can send this to get mixed by someone else. In the first part of this video, I never really did explain MIDI. So what I've done here is I've created an instrument track, which will accommodate a MIDI instrument. And I'm just going to pick this mini grand piano. Basically, for MIDI, you just need a MIDI controller. And it can be this electric piano, or it can be something like this. They're not expensive because they're basically just a controller for your computer. You can see the little notes moving up there. There's a lot of latency right now because I have a lot of tracks open. So when you're recording, obviously it makes those little dots on the track, and then once you're finished recording, you can go back and manipulate those dots, turn them up, turn them down, delete them, change them. You could do a really bad piano track and then go back and fix everything. So I just recorded all of this, and this is what it looks like. And you can move them. You can move them as a group, or you can just move one. I wasn't really set up for this, but I did want to show you the MIDI notes and how they can be manipulated. So this was how I arranged all of the strings. I did the bass this way. When I did the strings, I did not use a controller, you can draw them in. So you get the idea. It's really fun to sculpt a string section like that. You can figure out your harmonies on the fly. And that's exactly what I did with the strings and the horn for this song. So not the best demonstration by any means, but if you didn't know what MIDI was, there it is. Maybe I can show you what I've done with my vocals. I recorded my vocal track, and then I ran it through the Melodyne. Once I made all my pitch corrections, I bounced that corrected track onto an audio track. So I'm not using Melodyne anymore. Here I just have some EQ, a de-esser, and a compressor. Basically I committed to that sound, because the more things you commit to, the less decisions you have to make down the road. For example, this compressor setting is just controlling any peak. Beyond horizon's line, beyond. See, the compressor is running about 3 dB, so it's just lightly compressing what I've already compressed. EQ and compression are very important, but there are so many very, very good YouTube channels who already cover this kind of thing. 5 tips for using EQ. It's an art form. Music is an art form, and EQ and compression are tools to create that music, to sculpt it. In my production videos, I'm just going to touch on what I believe made this song shine and special. There's also a de-esser, which is a form of compressor. Watch this little part right here on any time I say an S or something in that range. Over mountains and oceans and under desert skies, I shot past. So that's working very well there. That's a tool that you generally use, particularly on female voices, or guys who sound like females sometimes. Let's see, I think that's really everything. So I hope you enjoyed producing Horizons Line. If you didn't see recording Horizons Line, the link is in the description below, and that's an amazing video. It shows you the reimagining, the recreation, and the recording of the tracking of the song. So I know that producing can be a little dry if it doesn't really interest you, but I hope it was entertaining for you. Now the song is available for you to stream or purchase on iTunes and Spotify, so please go listen and download the music. It'll help us out here. If you liked this video, if you like this content as much as I enjoy putting it out, kindly like the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Hit the bell icon so you're notified of every time I put out a new video. So it's a new channel, and we could use all the help that you can give us. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye now. Beyond horizons line, beyond horizons, over mountains and oceans and under desert skies, I shot past the sun in a rocket ship to another time. And I set sail, set out to find myself and realize the stream of mine. I cross horizons line.